Hi, everyone, and welcome back for another episode of Round Robin. I am your host, Tracy Preston, along with Christine Mulligan and Nina Mulligan. We're keeping it in a small group tonight. Hey, everyone.
Hey. Bonjour.
You know what, Nina? I never know what is going to come out of your mouth.
Well, my maiden name is Jeton, which was originally spelled Geton, but when we came over on the boat, apparently it was changed to a J and a T was added, so Jetton, and it means subway token in French. So I felt like bonjour was appropriate. I'm just giving a little homage to my maiden name of Jeton.
And I like it. And you know what? I'm taking you the next time I need to get on the subway.
Hey, apparently I'm a fun ride. I don't know.
Shush. Because I can just hear you. Hey. Shush.
Too much tequila on board tonight. I'm sorry.
Ole.
It is Cinco de Mayo after all. Hello. I couldn't not have tequila. I'm doing a little Margaritaville over here. And I gotta say, I'm feeling a little funny.
Good. And you know what? I totally didn't even realize today is Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, she was celebrating by herself while she made dinner. I came out, she had dinner ready and a margarita poured. I was like, what's going on? She was like, it's Cinco de Mayo.
So we had what every traditional Mexican probably has on Cinco de Mayo. We had chicken pot pie casserole.
Well, you know,
I'm thinking not.
The margarita was the only Mexican part of it, I think.
Well, at least you got that. I made pasta salad and grilled chicken, so.
Look at us in our whiteness.
It's horrible.
Casserole dishes and
Pasta
chicken breast.
salad.
Boring.
I bet nobody else had a Cinco de Mayo like we did.
Cinco de Mayo pot pie, bitches.
That's right. Oh, my God, that's hysterical. Okay. Woo, okay. All right, so... last week we had a conversation about me flying out to California and that nasty, pissy lavatory on the airplane. Well, on the return trip, I am happy to report that there was no urine all over the place. I was very happy about that.
Well, that's good.
Hey.
Well, I too also traveled this past week, and neither flight did I use the lavatory, so
Me neither.
I can't help you out.
I don't know. I don't know if it's like, maybe that's my superpower.
I pee before I get on the plane.
I feel like I never have to pee when it's inappropriate. I don't know. Like, if I'm like at a play, I don't have to pee till admission. If I'm on a plane, I don't have to pee until I get off. But even if I had to pee, I just wouldn't. And it would be okay.
Because you're such a good girl, Barbara.
Ew, all right, good. You got bladder controlage.
Kegels.
So that Kegel shit does work.
Apparently, except if you cough or laugh or sneeze.
Right? Sit with your legs crossed. Oh, my God. Okay. Well, I didn't have the pissy problem in the lavatory, but this time on the return trip home, and I've never, out of all the years I've been flying for work, never have I ever experienced shit like this. We were on time, right? Delta's real big on being on time. We were on time. We pushed back. We're legit ready to go down the tarmac. And I'm, it's a really big plane. So I'm actually sitting it's like the second bulkhead back there. And I've got the, flight attendant, her seats facing myself, facing me. And then the lavatory is right to my left. Anyway, people would not sit the fuck down. It was like, dudes, we're about ready to rip down the tarmac. And she's like, sir, sit down. You have to sit down. We're getting ready to take off. Like, she has to yell at him 2 or 3 times. And then another chick, she gets up in the overhead, getting shit up out of there. Like 2 or 3 people are doing this, like one after the other. Finally, she gets all them sat down. And then some dude comes from, the seating, ahead of us and goes in the bathroom. She's like, what? Sir. Nope, he goes in, he doesn't care. And so then she has to call the pilot and tell him, we got to wait. Well, now we've got some guy in the bathroom. I'm like, what in the actual shit? So because these people were just out of control, people missed their flights.
But here's my thing. Like, okay, so I used to have super bad road rage. Like, I pretty much, I pretty much almost ran myself and my children off the road, cutting somebody off at one point because they had like pulled out in front of me. They saw me coming, and then I'm doing 40 miles an hour, and they had the audacity to pull out in front of me right as I'm coming up on them. So I have to slam on my brakes, right? So I just got super pissed. This is the last time I got super pissed. I almost ran him off the road, literally into like a 5-foot ditch, okay? That's how mad I was. But that was the day that I decided that I would never have road rage again. But I've also seen 2 car accidents literally unfold in front of me. And I think because of those experiences, I thought to myself, there was a reason why I caught that red light. There was a reason why that person cut me off. And because if I had been there any sooner, I would have been the one in the accident. So I have to believe that whether it be a glitch in the matrix or just everybody had a wild hair up their ass, those people delaying your takeoff was because maybe there was a bird that would have been in the way and you guys would have been taking off. That engine would have sucked a bird in, you would have nosedived right back onto the tarmac and blew up in a fiery mess. So like, I don't get upset when there are delays because I feel like that is the universe's way of saying you are not supposed to be where you think you should be at that time.
Well, now I feel much better.
It does. It takes all of that away because your next thought is, had I been there on time, I'd be dead. So the fact that you're alive but slightly inconvenienced is a great reassurance that you are still on this earth.
My time has not come yet.
And you say I'm never positive. I think that's pretty damn positive.
I'm really appreciating your story, and you're right. There probably would have been a fucking goose that went sucked right into the engine, and we could have been dead because, to be honest, like, I've never had a problem with flying before, but lately it seems like you're hearing about plane crash after plane crash after plane crash lately. So now,
especially with Delta, so I can understand your fear.
I know. I'm like, oh my God, could this be it? Could this be my last flight? So you know what? Maybe you're right. I have to be thankful for Mr. I gotta pee, Mr. Pissy Pants. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I guess we're saying that we all believe in divine timing.
That's what I have to believe, because if not, I'd be a murderer and in prison, and I don't look good in orange. So
yeah, we're not doing that.
I do think that too. At least that's what I try to tell myself all the time when I'm getting impatient. I always tell myself, I don't know why I'm getting crazy and all impatient and all that, because if it was meant to be, it would be. I'm supposed to be wherever I am at the moment that I'm there.
Agreed.
This happens a lot at the Publix deli counter.
Yeah.
Because she's like, Ben, I'm about to go psycho up in here. And I'm like, no, I know, I get it, because I used to work for Publix in the deli department. And my boss, if we went as slow as these ones goes, I'll tell you what, we would have been fired. She would have been pulling us aside and being like, this is unacceptable. But, not everybody's standards are her standards. So I get it. But she has to woo-saw at the Publix counter all the time.
I do a lot.
I
work on my patience a lot.
Yeah.
That's why I say all the time. That's why the universe made me a nurse, is in order to give me patience, because I had none before that.
That's true.
That's good. And for anybody listening who doesn't know what Publix is, especially up here in the Mitten, Publix is the best freaking grocery store in the South.
It's not as good as oh my God, I just forgot the name of the stores that you guys have up there.
Meyer.
Well, the Myers are good too, but they're not as good as the other ones that are up in Philly. You guys got a few of them there too, right? Oh my God, why can't I remember the name?
BJ's? No, you guys have BJ's. That's not it.
Yeah, no, we have BJ's. It's a grocery store, but they also have that like
Schwan.
no
Schwegmans.
Wegmans.
Piggly Wiggly?
Wegmans.
Oh, Wegman.
Wegmans
Oh,
are the
yeah.
best grocery store out there ever, anywhere.
Yeah.
Wegmans are like phenomenal. They're always super clean. They have a great restaurant that you can eat at. The whole shebang. Like Wegmans is the bomb.com as far as grocery stores go.
That's right. I forgot about Wegmans because when we have our meetings up in Malvern, we like to run in there.
But,
Yeah.
Publix did add to some of their locations, and I think they want to, like, accessorize every location, I suppose, if it works. They've added a bar. You can go to the bar now at Publix.
Oh yeah, well that's just kind of silly. But
They're moving in that direction.
they should.
I don't want to drink at the grocery store.
Yeah.
How am I getting home with my groceries? They're like literally promoting DUIs.
Yeah,
this is insane.
That's what I'm saying. I don't agree
Right.
with drinking and driving after the grocery store. But I do think that Publix should probably add a cafe. It doesn't have to be a big restaurant like Wegmans, but if Publix added a cafe to sell all the Publix deli stuff that they're famous for,
Yeah.
it would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because you can go eat lunch before you spend a fortune in the grocery store.
True story.
Yeah, because that's the thing. You should never go grocery shopping when you're hungry.
Yeah.
But I find, though, if I'm not hungry, then I don't want to buy anything. Then I'm like, why am I here?
You stick to the list that way.
Partially true, yeah.
Stick to the
But
list.
the thing is that we do, so I do a weekly plan where I have all of my groceries mailed to me with recipes that I've chosen. So,
that's
as
nice.
far as like dinner is concerned, I don't have to come up with the ingredients because it has all of those already in the box. I just have to have the basics like flour and milk and butter and all that kind of stuff, oil or whatnot. So usually when we go to the grocery store, it's for like the snacks that we're going to have or maybe like what we're going to have for lunch during the week and things like that. So like if I'm not hungry, then nothing is like, I don't like
No snacks or snacking.
No snacks or snacking. Yeah. Like I got to have a taste. I got to have a hankering for something for me to go, oh yeah, like that would be so good right now. Let's get that. Let's do that.
Yeah, so there's got to be a happy medium though, because when I go to the store hungry, I buy everything, and then half of it goes to waste.
Yeah, because you're like, oh, that looks good. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a place here in Lansing called Horrocks, and it is, I want to say kind of like a flea market of food, right? And it's got all fresh fruits and vegetables, all kinds of stuff you don't normally find in the grocery store. And then, of course, a coffee section, a tea section where, it's all bulk and stuff like that. And they also have a humongous area of all different kinds of great beers and wines. And they have a bar and they have a coffee bar. So it's like, people would get coffee. And I want to say the coffee was free. I'm not sure. I could be wrong. But it's like, people are walking around with coffee. And then the next thing you know, it's drinks. It's wine. It's beer. So I get you. I'm like, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
That is weird. I don't want to be that kind of person. I don't want to be the person that like, hey, baby, it's date night. Let's go to the grocery store and have
Let's get one tied on.
Like, no.
Yeah, you're just the kind of person that has margaritas by themselves while they're cooking.
Exactly.
And she's because it's Cinco de Mayo.
I'm still having it right now.
Good for you. Cheers, baby.
Can you hear it? Okay.
Yes, I hear it. So, did you guys know that this past Saturday, the one we just had, because today's Monday night when we record, Saturday was the Kentucky Derby. Did you guys ever watch the Kentucky Derby?
Yeah, we did, but we were traveling on Saturday, so we really didn't get to watch any of it. We were kind of actually, not that I'm like big into horse racing, but horse racing has always been like, a trickle in my life, kind of. I lived close to Belmont, and everybody was always betting the horses when I was a kid, talking about all that. my mother was into betting and all that stuff. Not just for the horses, not like betting on the reg.
Right.
She wasn't a gambler, by far. But like the horse races, especially the Triple Crown. Like that was, it's kind of like the Super Bowl. Like I don't watch football every Sunday, but when the Super Bowl comes around, like I'm into it, So I usually am into the Triple Crown stuff. And I was kind of bummed. Like I didn't even realize that I was going to be away the first weekend in May. And I was like, well, wow, that's literally like the first day of May. I felt like, not literally, but
yeah,
kind of was.
Really it was the 3rd.
Yeah, the 3rd.
And the thing is, not this year, not the year before, but the year before that, we went to a Kentucky Derby party.
Yeah, that was fun.
That my friend holds, and that was fun. And I think I won a couple of the trivia questions. But they did like little jars, and you can like bet on who you think is going to win and stuff like that. But we actually just watched on Netflix. There's a whole series on people who own horses and do that Triple Crown kind of thing. And I'm like, I have mixed emotions about it because I feel like on one hand, horses are our kind of like workmates. We have coerced a relationship with horses where I feel like it's beneficially mutual in that respect.
Mutually beneficial.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because like naturally horses are not our pets, but we've made them that way, but we also really take good care of them, so I feel like...
So you're perplexed on whether or not it's abusive.
Yeah, so I feel like a little bit like the running of them in that way, or the minute they get injured, they're killed because they're no longer useful, and like the horse racing was really big down here. And a few years ago, we voted that out as well, making greyhounds run and stuff like that for gambling. And I just feel like on some level, that's not necessarily what a horse was born to do, even though horses like to run. And so I'm kind of conflicted, like, I love it because it's really exciting, but at the same time, I feel like we're abusing the animals. So it's a hard thing for me to watch, if that makes sense.
It totally makes sense. And when I used to live in South Florida, I went to a couple races down there and I felt the same way. It was like kind of interesting. I was conflicted like you are because I do feel badly for the horses. I mean, they run the living hell out of them. And like you said, like either if they get wounded, if they break a leg, I mean... that's it, nighty night. Or, they retire the horses if they're lucky enough to be retired, but it's big money.
Yeah.
Big money. And, so the winner was Sovereignty, and that was a 7-1 winner. And the prize, the purse, was $3.1 million.
Wow.
Yeah. But half the time, that's not even the worth of the horse.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about how much they pay for the horses and then the upkeep of that horse, you're talking hundreds of millions.
Yeah.
When you're done with it, like you never really get a return unless you are literally a Triple Crown winner, which doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it does. I'm sure it has happened where you hit the Triple Crown, but yeah.
It happened, but a handful of times, retrospectively speaking, how many times it's occurred. Like, what are we on? 159?
Something like that.
Belmonts and 155 Preakness and 150 Kentucky Derbies or some number like that. And I think it's the Triple Crown has only been one. I mean, we should probably Google this to not misinform people. But I want to say like 15 times.
Yeah, it hasn't been nearly. Yeah, it hasn't been enough. And a lot of those horses, just to buy the horse, is $1 million or more.
10 million.
I mean, like you're lucky if they do buy. That's why you got to watch this documentary because it really shows you like how much these people have hundreds of horses in their stable. Not one of those horses are less than $500,000. Some of them being up to $10 million. And the thing is like the real investment, the return that they get is if they win these big numbers, if they are a Triple Crown winner, or even if they are a winner of one of those in the Triple Crown, then their sperm is worth like $3 million a squirt. You know what I mean? Because they were saying that this last Kentucky Derby, I did hear something where they were saying all of the horses that ran in the Kentucky Derby were descendants of the Secretariat.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
I could be totally lying, and this could be. I could
You know
be
what? I'm buying
totally
it.
recollecting this through tequila, but I'm pretty sure I saw a blurb on that today where they were saying that this is like the first, because the Secretariat, if nobody's watched that movie, go watch it. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It'll make you cry. But yeah, every horse that was in the Derby this past weekend was a descendant of the sperm from Secretariat. So somewhere in their line, that horse is, and that really is where the money's at.
Gotcha. Well, I did just Google it up. So just 13 horses have accomplished the Triple Crown.
There you go.
Look at
Out
you
of
guys.
At least 150 years.
Yeah. That's pretty
not a
cool.
lot.
That's pretty cool. So, you know, I don't know if you heard all the hoopla that happened at the Kentucky Derby, but yeah, so a couple of young women have got people, you know, just losing their shit. So one of them is named Olivia Dune, or Dune, D-U-N-N-E. I'm going to say Dune. Beautiful young woman, blonde, gorgeous. She just finished her 5 years. And I don't know, maybe like once you do 5 years on a team, that's it. But it sounds like she was in her 5th year, just finished it off with LSU Tigers, women's gymnastics, right? Your body can't, like you can only go so long during gymnastics. Like then you're an old bird, and like you're geriatric, I guess. But anyway, she's a Jersey native.
Well, you should really only be in college for 4 years. So 5 years, she's, you know,
Yeah.
dragging out the college years of it.
Yeah, but even still, I mean, most of the people that go to the Olympics are 13, 14, 15, and 16. So really, if you're
Well, they
20
can't be on
and you're still a gymnast, that's geriatric.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can't be on the team until they're 16.
Yeah, but they're training.
Yeah, they're
for it.
training when they're 3.
Right.
You're crazy?
But I mean, like literally, they're being plucked at the age of like 13 to start training with the Olympic team.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yep.
they're already semi-professional athletes by the time they're 13.
They're not professional at all when they're on the Olympics.
Well, I know, but they're still getting endorsements, so they're getting paid.
Yeah.
They're
Yep.
semi-professional.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Go ahead.
All right. So anyway, you know, she's a Jersey girl, and a lot of people were going nuts because what she wore, they were like, oh my God, this is not appropriate for the Derby. So I looked at what she was wearing. I mean, she had a tight, very tight, white, spaghetti strapped dress with black polka dots on it. And I think the biggest, you know, of course she had, because the hats are the thing, right? Big, big hats at the Derby. She had a big hat on. She's absolutely stunning. And I don't know what people were losing their mind over. She looked amazing. She's young. She's beautiful. She looks great. She, you know, had very clear, you know, suntan marks from her bathing suit top. So I don't know, like they thought that was inappropriate. But this chick went viral. Viral. So I'm like,
Well, was it see-through?
no, it was not see-through. It was a white, tight, I think it was buttoned down the front. It had black polka dots on it. And then it had like over the shoulders that kind of hung down the shoulders was like a black tulle. You know what I mean? I didn't think it was inappropriate, but people were losing their ever-living mind over what this girl was wearing. And she wasn't the only one. There was another girl there, and she's like a big either Instagram or TikTok or both. But she's an influencer. She's got like 3 million, almost 3 million or 3 million plus followers. She's also dating, you know, a dude who's a TikTok influencer. But anyway, people were losing their mind over her as well. Gorgeous, beautiful young woman. And, you know, she's a very big breasted young woman. She had a tight black, kind of like a square, I don't know what you call it, like, you know, where the front of the dress is like squared. And, you know, her breast, she has breasts. And they were saying that she was completely inappropriate. She also had a big black and white brimmed hat. You know, I didn't see anything why these people are losing their mind. They're beautiful young women with amazing bodies. And I'm like, what in the hell's the big deal here? But even fans of hers were like, you know, we don't want the Kentucky Derby turning into an influencer thing. Another one of her fans were like, don't they have a dress code? I mean, yeah, the dress code is big hats and dresses.
Okay, well, I just need to clarify something. All these judgy McJudgersons that are saying that they don't want, and I haven't seen the outfits, but the outfits are irrelevant because celebrities and billionaires dress like they're half naked half the time, and we don't say boo about nothing.
Right.
But the fact that they're influencers and they're young and they're rich, that causes people to hate on them because people are envious and jealous.
That
and,
sounds like an old money, new money.
Yeah, it sounds like an old money, new money is what I'm getting to. And the absurdity of it, the absolute absurdity of it is that is what they wanted the Kentucky Derby to be, an elitist club. And now they're mad that it's easier for people to join if they just have new money.
Exactly.
So the old is just being petty bitches, and the people complaining are probably neither of the latter.
But I think they probably always complain. But the thing is that actually the Kentucky Derby was a place where class was eliminated. The entire point of the actual race was that you could be anybody and come to the Kentucky Derby and show up and be classy and wear your hat. It was for all classes, even though it was economically divided by bets or by where you're sitting in the stands.
That's exactly it.
The problem is that old money doesn't like new money, period, the end. So they don't agree, even if you have the status to outweigh them in your bank account, you still will never be them, which is why you should never make anybody old money in charge of anything.
I couldn't agree more.
Their club is only for them, and the only way that you get into that club is by breeding with them.
Right, exactly. Go have another mint julep, bitches. Relax.
It doesn't matter how much money you have. If you didn't come from their loins, you are not worthy. Period. The end.
Yeah, you don't truly fit in.
You join the club, but you're never in the club.
And that's why I think it's truly absurd, is because fuck them people. Fuck all them people that are going to judge other people. They just need to go away with all their hate.
Yeah, agreed.
If you got it, flaunt it. Because you know what?
Enjoy it.
Nobody tells you what happens to your body after you have kids. You know what? So every young woman I come across, I say take lots of pictures of yourself nude. And I'm not just even talking about like your tiddly bits. I'm talking about your arms.
Your thighs.
Enjoy those arms while they don't wave back at you while you are brushing your hair, girl. Okay? Because one day, whether you're fit or not, is going to wave back at you. It's just inevitable. You can slow it down, but you'll never stop it. So appreciate what you got while you got it.
Amen. And speaking of mint juleps, have you guys ever had one of those nasty things?
Yeah, I don't like them.
Oh, it's disgusting.
Okay. I didn't love it, but I mean, I didn't hate it, but it's not something I'm like trying to get.
I like mint, and I don't like mint juleps.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
and I'm not big on liquor. I don't like the taste of liquor, and I'm not one of those people where I just drink to drink. I don't drink to get drunk because whatever. I'm stupid without alcohol, so I don't need it really. And the other thing is, it just doesn't taste good. Like, so when I drink, I literally only drink rum. And it usually has pineapple or coconut. Like, that's it. I'm so basic.
And you like your Prosecco.
Are definitely not going to happen.
But then I got stuck on that she doesn't like liquor. And I was like...
You lie.
Too many margaritas for Nina.
You shush. The shush is coming out again.
Shush.
Well, I had one of those and it's like a good bourbon. Yeah, and it's a sipper. But this thing was so disgusting. I mean, basically it's bourbon, simple syrup, crushed mint, and shaved ice or whatever. But the one I had when I was in Florida, I'm like, this is so disgusting. I couldn't even drink it. Now, if I'm going to drink, I don't drink because I really like the flavor. I drink because I want to get a buzz. I'm like, nope, I couldn't even drink it. I couldn't even do it. I'm like, I don't know what is so wonderful about this drink because it was the worst cocktail I've ever had in my life. They can keep it. Old money, enjoy it.
Yeah. No, see, that's the thing. But like you just said, and Nina laughed at me when I said I'm not a drinker to drink. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I meant, to get a buzz on.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't do it.
No, you're not a big drinker.
That was not why
Oh,
I was
because it was the
laughing.
liquor. Okay,
We know.
okay.
You didn't get the
Well,
joke
we can't
until
do
now?
it because
Yeah,
apparently
sure.
I gotta be censored. Whatever.
Shush.
What that? Want me to just throw out the Constitution while we're at it?
Hey, now.
Hey, we can't go there.
No, we can't go there.
I would really like to at times. Believe me, it's a big, lip biter on that one. Ugh. All right, so now we're gonna shift to. I want to ask you guys: have you guys ever? I absolutely have not. But have you guys ever been to Italy? Do you want to go to Italy?
I have never been to Italy. I've never been outside of the United States. I haven't been to most of the United States, but I totally want to go to Italy.
I do too. I'm a big, I love historic places. Now, I've never been, always want to go, but I've had a lot of friends who have gone to Rome and, they've seen all the sites in the Colosseum and all that kind of stuff. And I heard Rome is actually quite dirty. I wouldn't know. But the Colosseum, we all know, right? That's where the gladiators would, battle to the death. And this place is pretty big. And of course, it's, falling apart and this and that. But anyway, so recently, like within the last week, there was a man who is actually an American, but this 47-year-old American is actually he's residing in Taiwan. And I'm not certain if he was there with his friends or with his family or whatever, but this dude was trying to get himself a selfie, unlike any other. So, they have places that you cannot go to, like they're roped off, barred off, can't go in, do not enter, that kind of thing, because it's just falling apart or it's not safe or whatever. So this guy decides that he's going to scale a particular wall outside of the Colosseum and get himself a selfie. Well, there is a iron fence all around this area. And of course, the fence is something that you're not supposed to be on, this, that, and the other thing. And you're not supposed to be on it because the whole top of this wrought iron fence is nothing but
A tetanus trap?
it is a tetanus trap, but it's like how fencing
Barbed
iron.
wire?
No, it's not barbed wire, but it's iron rods, right? So they have all these. It's long rods, and then the last bar that goes horizontal. Then you have the rods that are still poking up, and they're pointy at the top. And it's about these rods look like they're about 4, maybe 5 inches apart. They're all pointy at the top, and this dude fell. And he fell and impaled himself. And it's not one impalement. Like, he must have had multiple impalements from the top of this iron fencing gate, whatever you want to call it.
So he's dead?
He's not dead, if you can believe. He is not dead. So could you imagine, like, being there with your family and stuff, and all of a sudden you hear someone screaming bloody murder? So this guy, I don't know the duration of the time that he was up there, but it took them 20 minutes just to get his body up and off the fence.
That gives new meaning to Only the Good Die Young, because that is some stupid shit. And how somebody survives that is like the universe speaking to you. So I expect whomever this may be to become like a monk after this and subscribe themselves to the internal embodiment of the universe from this day forward, because that is the most insane thing I've ever heard.
I know.
Crazy.
Yeah, I could not believe when I read this today. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I mean, could you imagine, like, what if you had your kids with you? And, like, here, legit, you've got some dude, like, laying on his back, completely impaled, screaming. They finally get him off of there. He survived. And I'm thinking, he has to be paralyzed. He's still alive. He's in critical condition. Of course, he lost a ton of blood. And they had taken him immediately, clearly, to the San Giovanni Hospital in Rome. And he underwent immediate surgery. But they're not saying that he's paralyzed, but you know damn well he's paralyzed. I can't believe he survived it.
I was just thinking, like from a nurse perspective, like those are the kind, like when we're talking about it like happenstance and we're very removed from it, we're like, oh my God, I can't believe he's alive, because it's incredible. But from a nurse's perspective, like the ones that are closer to it and the nurses that are taking care of him, like that is actually what we're driven to do, like break the impossible, like heal this person and help them get better to a place of near normalcy. Like, of course, normalcy is the goal, but we don't ever expect 100% success 100% of the time. So we're shooting for, well, I hope he stays alive and it'll be a miracle if he can walk.
Right.
And then I hope he stays alive and it'll be a miracle if he can breathe on his own.
But let's even take that a step further. Because, like, even before we do that, if you look at statistically, like the odds of somebody impaling themselves in precise locations that would not meddle with, like, basic infrastructure within your body. So
critical
organs, right? That is a statistical anomaly.
Yeah.
That is unreal before it even gets to you as a practical nurse.
No, I hear you.
Like, how insane is it that in those moments you have to then think beyond even just the singular plane of what we understand as humans, but then also understand that there is a greater purpose for that person's non-departure from Earth.
Yeah, a universal, the divine intervention.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. But that's what I'm saying. But that's like I'm going to geek out for a little bit.
Geek out,
girl.
Humanity, rooting for humanity. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, we flippantly talk about it and we're like, oh my God. And within that, we're acknowledging the fact of, the likelihood and statistically speaking, this is a miracle. You know what I mean? Where on every level, these kind of things, when even though we may naysay at first, we're internally, humanitarily thinking, I hope this guy gets a miracle. And then that miracle, depending on your knowledge, and I started this out by saying from a nursing perspective. So from a nursing perspective, the miracle would be normalcy for that person. But as you work your way down to set up the goals for the care of this person and for the path to recovery, there's so many places along the way that any little miracle, like if he stays alive and he could breathe on his own, that's miracle tier 10. You know what I'm saying? But if he stays alive and can walk, that's like miracle tier 90.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the fact that this guy did not puncture or get impaled through his descending aorta and bleed right out right there, right then?
Yeah, I know.
What?
So what I'm saying is I hope that this guy survives, and I hope that this story goes viral, because this world can use a fucking tier 90 miracle right about now.
Well, I hope that he turns that tier 90 miracle, though, into a like aha light bulb moment for himself. Like, what in the world was this guy doing in his life where the universe said, I am going to literally fucking give you millimeters or centimeters of survival for you to what?
So what are you saying?
So what is his spark going to be?
What does he have to accomplish?
What does he have to accomplish in this life? That's where I find hope.
And you know what, guys? You guys just came up with a new term. Tier 90 miracle. I like it, and I'm gonna use that. Is gonna be like the ultimate saying now for any miracle. T90.
I love it.
That's
T90M.
miracle. Like, what the fuck?
T90M.
But the reason why I geek out about it is because, a tier 90 miracle would inspire so many humans that know that story. It would be inspirational for them to recognize live your life to the fullest, most authentically as you can, because tier 90 miracles are fucking possible.
They are. They're 1 in a million. So hopefully you're the one.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? That's why I geek out. You know,
But then also the Capricorn side of me says, but if the rule is don't take a selfie in that area because it's dangerous, you probably shouldn't do it.
Right. Heed the warning.
So, like, he's kind of like a self-induced T90 miracle. I think it's more of the universe saying, hey, dude, you didn't follow the rules. We're going to give you another chance because you're supposed to do something. Well, let's hope you figure it out.
This is your one miracle. This is it.
right. And you're taking the mom perspective. The mom perspective is, fucking idiot, learn from your stupidity. And if you cannot learn, I am going to teach you a lesson so unbelievably impossible to not learn from.
Yeah, you thought the impaling was bad? Oh, just wait. Don't fuck up this chance.
Exactly.
You're going to wish you had been 3 centimeters to the left.
Exactly. That shit needs to go on a t-shirt. T90M.
Isn't that amazing, though? Isn't that amazing that the lessons from the universe are going to be what you make them to be?
Right?
If you're going to be that big of a dumbass, this is how hard that lesson's going to be.
Or it's that the universe understands that as human beings, we are inherently narcissistic. So we create miniature ourselves. And in the process of trying to do better because we didn't do better, we don't kill ourselves because they're literally miniature me's.
What? You lost me.
No.
What?
Total sense. Think about it. Little babies come out cute, so the parents don't kill them because you're not going to kill this cute little innocent fluffy being. So the thing is that people have children that look just like them, and it irritates the freak out of you because it pushes all the buttons that you know yourself are weak in, but you want to instill in your own child, like, don't make the same dumb mistakes I did because I want you to have a better, easier, like, quicker than I did.
Okay, so we're made in his.
They're made
right?
in our image,
So now
which
you're
is
making-
why we don't strangle them when they do the crazy things that they do. When they do them against our will.
Yeah, lessons learned applied to motherhood.
Absolutely. Well, you know what?
I don't recommend it.
Right.
I do.
Not a job I recommend.
I
Right.
do. It's totally worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth it, but it's not worth it. It's like sorry, not sorry.
There's moments that make you really, wonder, but then it's a beautiful thing. But listen to this. So, let's.
It's a beautiful thing, but listen to this.
I want to get back on track here. So,
Shut up. Stop hijacking my show, you stupid bitches.
All right, go ahead, Chase.
okay, so let's take this, T90 miracle dude, right? So he's going to get through all of this on his miracle. But in 2023, there was a British tourist who just simply carved his name and his partner's name into the walls of the Colosseum. Now, that guy was faced with criminal penalty of up to 5 years in prison and, of course, thousands of dollars in fines. So let's think about our T90 miracle dude. He's going to get through all of this anguish and pain and suffering, and he's going to jail probably.
Oh, wow. Lessons are going to be lessons. And
They're pricey.
Like I said, as a Capricorn, you probably should just follow the rules because they're there for a reason. Now, here's my thing. If the rules
She's not
tell
letting it go.
you in order to move forward that you got to hurt other people, then those rules you can break. I don't mind those rules. But if the rules are there so that you don't impale yourself and go to prison, you should probably follow them. I'm just saying.
Heed the sign.
yeah, but can we just get back to the person that carved their names into the Colosseum? Like, how disrespectful. Why do people got to be so disrespectful?
True story.
I don't know. It does drive me nuts.
Destructive and disrespectful.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
You know what I mean? Like, that bothers me.
It bothers me
I
too.
don't feel bad for them.
No, I don't feel bad for that guy.
Hey, remember?
No,
in
we're
the
mad as
90s?
hell.
Remember in the 90s when that kid went to like Singapore and he was like, somebody in the government's son and he like spit gum out onto the street, which
It's
is
illegal there.
illegal there,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
And so his punishment was to like get caned, like
they whip them.
like 90 times or some shit like that, you know. And everybody was like so up in arms about this.
But the thing is, it's the rule. Like, you're going somewhere.
Yeah.
The onus is on you to know the rules of where you're going.
True story.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to be a good steward of your surroundings, then first and foremost, you should come prepared. You should come correct. Do you know what I mean? See, the thing is I want to wish for miracles, and I want everybody to succeed, and I want everyone to do well. But the fact of the matter is we have a society with some rules, you know, so everybody can get along. We don't want to infringe on your happiness, but at the same time, like, come with a little respect. Come with knowledge. Come with ownership of your actions.
Right.
And you can't own your actions if you don't know what they're supposed to be. So know what they're supposed to be before you go somewhere. Make it your business for you to be your business. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know, because otherwise you're going to get caned and not in a good way.
Exactly. Ow. I don't caning is not good.
You're going to have to take your licks.
Take your licks. Yeah.
I don't mind a little caning.
Freak.
Freakazoid.
But that's the thing, like, you know, I feel as like an American, or I think when you go anywhere, whether you come here or you go elsewhere, it's your kind of duty to like try, you know, even if it's not good. Like Puerto Rico, we went to Puerto Rico, and I'm like, I'm trying to say words, and I feel incredibly disrespectful because I sound like a white person trying to speak Spanish, and it just sounds awful, you know. But I feel like,
But you're trying.
But I'm trying, you know?
Exactly.
So like, that's what you should do. Like anywhere you go, is like being respectful of other people's culture and other people's
I'm not saying you
heritage.
gotta know their language.
No,
I'm just saying you gotta
like,
know the rules.
But you gotta be respectful of what's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So,
Like,
I mean, it sucks for him, but he's got to pay his dues. You know,
Yeah.
he deserves to go because he broke the rules. You know.
Yeah. I mean,
agreed.
that sucks. Nobody wants to get caned 90 times, but nobody wants to get caned at all. Let me just make that straight.
I couldn't handle one.
Yeah, no. No,
I don't
probably
prefer a cane.
snap.
It seems like your skin would just split, to be honest. I
Well,
don't
it
know
does.
how it. Oh,
It does sometimes.
God.
The thing is unfortunately, that's their law. So you should have known better and not did that. And I understand it's such a stupid thing, but I kind of feel like I know that and I've never been there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The thing is like whether you like even like my whole point is even if you don't feel like it's got a purpose, it has a purpose to somebody else. Like regardless of how you think it should or should not apply to you, it applies to you. Period. The end. And in fact, you know, when the reason why they don't like chewing gum is because it does not biodegrade for a very long time. So if you have a lot of people spitting gum out onto the streets, then now you have literal streets filled with crap that you have to chip off with a freaking jackhammer. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there is a reason. It's a valid reason, even if you think it's trivial or it doesn't make sense to you. It is not your place to understand whether or not it makes sense to you. It's just your place to respect it.
Right. And listen, there's a ton of people walking around out there too. Who wants gum in their shoes? Gum in their tires? It's gross. Keep it in your mouth or put it where it belongs.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I've got one more quick.
Keep it in your mouth and put it where it belongs. Did we
Okay. Let's rein it in, Christine.
Dirty bird.
Right? And I'm the one that's with tequila. Okay.
See, she doesn't need. Good God, could
She
you
doesn't
imagine?
need it. Aquarius. Age of Aquarius. Sorry. Okay, cut that out.
No, I love it when you sing, and I'm not cutting it out. Aquarius. Come on, Nina.
I don't even really know that song. I just know that part.
Christine knows it.
Is that ABBA?
No, it's oh damn it. Somebody's got to Google that real quick.
Oh man, where are
Who sings Aquarius? I want to say it's definitely a 2-woman, 2-men group, I think, in the 60s. Aquarius. That's all I can remember.
I thought it was ABBA.
No, it's not ABBA.
No.
The Fifth Dimension. Yeah.
There we go. It's been a long time.
Because that's the dimension I'm living in.
Fifth Dimension.
Think of your bio.
Tequila will take you to the 5th dimension.
And apparently, I live there.
Right. Yes, it's in your
I
home.
live somewhere. Can I skip the hellscapes? Can I go straight to like the utopia portion of this freaking ride? I'm tired. Perimenopause is kicked in. I'm done.
Done.
Put me out to pasture.
She's got to sway back. She is done.
She does have this way back.
Oh my God.
Oh my!
Mm-hmm.
Charlie's laughing, dude. Cracking up.
Is he?
Can you hear?
No.
That's Charlie.
Oh, that's Charlie?
Yes.
I think he wants to put you out to pasture.
She hates me. She's a fucking devil bird.
She's like, you're going to pasture.
Demon.
I didn't know your bird laughed.
No, she's not.
She is.
She is not. She's so
She's a demon.
Her beady little eyes while she bites me. I'm trying to give her food. I'm trying to give her life, and she's trying to take off my fingertip.
She's like,
You're not just daydreaming that shit. I don't start drinking till after 5. Okay.
You're going to wake up in the middle of the night, and Charlie's going to be sitting right on your face.
And Charlie's just sitting here laughing the whole time.
It's a fucking evil laugh too. It's like the Chucky. It's like the Chucky child bride laugh.
Oh my God, that is the best. Woo.
Okay.
I feel like what I'm going to say is going to be a downer after that. Oh man, that was so good. Okay, so last story, we'll wrap it up. So I came across this and I was trying, like, nowhere in this article did I find out where this is in Michigan. I'm only going to assume maybe up north a little bit because we have a lot of black bears up north, right? Probably, I don't know, mid-state and definitely up in the top of the state and absolutely in the Upper Peninsula. Anyway, there was this young lady sitting at a bus station and a big old black bear comes walking up to this girl. Now, that is a dangerous situation. Like, you don't want to fuck around with bears, right? But this bear, there was something in this woman as this bear, the way the bear approached, the way the bear was looking, and she was somehow drawn to this bear. And so it started to like nudge, like not nudge her, but kind of had this look in its eyes, and it was kind of like nodding this way, like, let's go back this way. And this girl actually did it. She was like, I don't know why I did it. I was afraid, but there was something that was telling me to go. So this girl gets up. People at the bus station are like, what are you doing? Don't do that. You know, bears are dangerous. And she's like, yeah, I know, but she did it anyway. So she starts following this bear, and this bear is actually taking her in to the forest. And so she's like fighting with herself because she's like, I know this is dangerous, but something's telling me to go. So she ends up like texting her boyfriend and saying, hey, I'm just dropping a pin, letting you know where I'm at. And that's it. And then she put her phone on silence because she didn't want to startle the bear. So anyway, the bear's leading this girl through the forest, and it's going nice and slow, like letting her know it's not aggressive. And the bear would continue to turn back and look at this girl, making sure she was following. takes her deeper and deeper and deeper into the woods. And then finally they get to kind of like a clearing-ish, and she sees a campsite. And to her, it looks abandoned. There's shit all over the place. There's a tent. And the bear actually takes her into the tent and is nudging at this thing. Well, underneath kind of all the shit is a journal. So she picks up the journal. She's looking through the journal, and she can see it's someone that's been watching the bears. Watching. So she's flipping through this journal, reading through this journal. Well, what she's finding is, yes, this is definitely at least a man watching the bears, recording the bears. And this particular man is specifically focused on a white bear cub. So as she continues to read through the journal, this guy wants to capture this bear and show the world a white bear. It's a miracle bear. And so she's like, oh my God. But the bear is just like leading her to all of this stuff. Continues on, starts to walk through the forest, and actually ends up getting her over to, she could hear, like, I don't know what bear cubs sound like when they're crying, but there was actually a trap, and this baby white bear was in the trap. Now, it wasn't like the typical bear claw trap. It was something made of rope and all that kind of stuff. And there was a knife that was at the campsite. So she went back to go get the knife. And then as she's going back to the knife, she actually hears men, not a man, men. And they've been watching her and this bear. So she's scared to death. And she's like, oh my God. She makes her way off with this bear. And this bear is leading her back there and, you know, growling. Like the growls are getting worse because it's actually defending this girl. So this is a mama bear and it's her cub. So she ends up finally releasing this baby cub, and it reunites with the mother. And then the mother hunches up, gets on her back feet because the men are coming, and she's, you know, really going for it and growling and scaring these men away. Thank God they didn't have any guns or anything like that. So after the men take off, the mama bear is like looking the way she described it in this article, the way that she looked at her with her eyes. And even the baby bear came up and started like pawing at this girl's shoelaces. And she saved this freaking bear. Can you, like, how about that, you guys? Is that the craziest story you've ever heard of?
That's.
And then it led her back out of the forest, guided her back out of the woods to where she came upon this trail that led her back to town.
That's up with those tier 90 miracles, dude.
Yeah.
T90.
I just made that up, and you just had 3 tier 90 miracle stories.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
Maybe I
That's
should
crazy.
name this show T90 Miracle.
Tier 90 miracle.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's super cool. Like,
She's on a whole nother vibration.
yeah.
Mhm.
So
She
that's how
vibrates
that.
higher.
That's why that works. Like people who are in tune with animals like that and have that kind of like, it's not like a dominance, like a fear thing, but it's like a dominance, like a respect thing.
It's an understanding.
It's
a
an
respectful
understanding. Yeah,
Mhm.
they're just on this. They're like on a different vibration, and I feel like all animals are on a certain frequency, and there are some humans that can meet that need, but
Yeah.
not all. But
Right?
not all humans. Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of people have let go, because I think that's an innate thing as being a human being. I mean, we lived off the land. We had animals. We had to have animals. I just found that story so like, wow, how beautiful is that story? And my heart just broke. But that bear knew who to go to.
Yeah. That bear was being a mom, a mom in nature,
I need help.
seeking out who,
Mhm.
whatever and whoever she needed to save her cub. But at the same time, because she respected the girl's efforts and ultimately helping her save her cub, she protected that girl from the men.
Yeah.
And also, I kind of hate for the non-feminist people out there how this is a real-life story of how bears are less dangerous than men in the woods.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
And
These damn men.
when the role is reversed and the bear needs help, they don't go to men.
No. I need a female right now.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that story.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's all men. I'm just saying it's.
All
I
men.
want to say I love that story, and how come that didn't go as viral as the whole debate about
Who's wearing what?
Woods?
Yeah.
No, who was wearing what at the Kentucky
who's wearing
Derby
what,
is more important
Right.
than that story.
And that's
Right.
just hysterical how much that goes with that.
Yeah. So, bear in the woods is not a bad thing. I don't know. I was blown away by it, and I was like, oh my God, it made my heart really.
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah. Yep. Well, that was a great show, ladies. Thank you.
Thanks. It was a good chat.
Yeah.
We're kind of all over the place again.
I love it.
But what else?
I love it. I love going on. But that's the beauty of conversation.
I think that's what makes this fun to listen to.
Yeah.
And hopefully they're talking and yelling back at us, you idiots.
And they're saying, you know what? Keep that tequila coming.
It's a totally different vibe than the wine. I'm just going to put that out there. Tequila Nina's a little bit more sassy.
I love it. All right. Well, thanks, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. As always, we appreciate you. Keep coming back and listening, liking, sharing, and subscribing to Malice in the Mitten on YouTube. And tell all your friends about us, because this is a cool-ass show. Nobody's doing a show like this.
Sorry.
All right. Well, thanks, everyone. And we will see you back on Friday for F-Bomb.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.